press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello children, subject social science, topic the new lesson, the Mughal Empire. Okay, lesson number 7, the Mughal Empire. In this class we study about the region of Akbar and Aurangzeb and the liberal policies and achievements of the Akbar. Understood? The Mughal Empire, Babur invaded India in 1526. Babur, he invaded India in 1526. Understood, children? After overthrowing the Delhi Sultanate, established the Mughal rule. Understood? Babur, he defeated the Delhi Sultanate and he started the Mughal Empire in Delhi. Understood, children? When he was invaded India, children, Babur invaded India in 1526. Understood? After overthrowing the Delhi Sultanate, he established the Mughal Empire in Delhi. Understood? In this lesson, we study about the region of Akbar and Aurangzeb are described here. In this lesson, their administration and achievements, contributions to culture are also we study in this class. Okay, children. There were 3 empires. Here we see 3 empires in the history of India. The famous 3 empires in the history of India. One is Maurya Empire. First one is Maurya Empire. Second one is Gupta Empire. And third one is the Mughal Empire. Okay. The Mughal Empire, the founder of the Mughal dynasty. Who was the founder of the Mughal dynasty? Babur was the founder of the Mughal dynasty. Babur was the founder of Mughal dynasty. He established the Mughal dynasty in India in 1526. Okay. Next, he was ruling a small region in Afghanistan. Understood? Before he ruling a small kingdom in Afghanistan called Kabul. Understood? He ruled Kabul in Afghanistan. This is small kingdom. Understood? He was ruling a small kingdom, that is Kabul. Okay, in Afghanistan, and he was waiting for an opportunity to attack India. Understood? Which was rich, and India was very rich and prosperous. Okay, that's why he was waiting for an opportunity to attack India. In 1526, what happened? He defeated the Delhi Sultanate and he captured Delhi and established the Mughal Emperor in Delhi. Understood? In 1526. In 1526, here Babur invaded India. Understood, children? He overthrowing or defeated the Delhi Sultanates and established the Mughal Empire or Mughal rule in India. Okay. Next, Babur belonged to which race? Babur belonged to the Mongol race. He belonged to the Mongol race. Mongolians. He belonged to the Mongol race. Babur belonged to the Mongol race. The word Mughal also comes from Mongol. Understood? Once again, see here, Babur belonged to the Mughal race. Babur belonged to the Mongol race. Which race? Mongol race. Okay. And the Mughal word, it comes from Mongol. Understood? The word Mughal comes from Mongol. Mughal. It comes from Mongol. Okay? The word Mughal comes from Mongol. Okay? Babur, he belonged Mongol race. Understood? Next, rose was introduced by Babur. Understood? Who introduced the rose in India? Rose was introduced to India by Babur. Babur introduced rose in India. Babur was introduced rose in India. Taking advantage of the growing weakness of the Delhi Sultanates, Babur invaded Delhi in 1526 and ended their region, but he could not stop at that because the Rajputs and the Afghans resisted him, continuously resisted Akbar very strongly. The brave, but he was very brave. Babur, he was very brave, and he was with his powerful weapons and he forced the opposing armies to retreat. Understood? Finally, he invaded 1526. Babur invaded India in 1526. Okay. Next, soon Babur conquered Delhi. Understood? Agra and the surroundings area and established his kingdom. Babur established in his kingdom, but he died soon. His son Humayun ascended the throne. The Mughal Empire was an early modern empire that controlled much of South Asia between 16th and 19th century. Okay, the Mughal Empire was an early modern empire. Understood, children? That controlled much of South Asia between the 16th and 19th century. Okay, the Mughal Empire was have been founded in 1526. It founded in 1526 by Babur. Understood? Babur was founded the Mughal Empire. Okay. He defeated the Sultan of Delhi. Okay, he defeated the Sultan of Delhi, Ibrahim Lodi. Babur defeated the Sultan of Delhi, Ibrahim Lodi, in the first battle of Panipat. Understood, children? The first battle of Panipat. First battle of Panipat. The first battle of Panipat, Babur defeated the Delhi Sultan Ibrahim Lodi. Babur defeated which king? The Delhi Sultan Ibrahim Lodi. Ibrahim Lodi. Okay, he defeated the Mughal Empire was founded by Babur, a he was Central Asian ruler. Okay, he established himself in Kabul and then pushed steadily southward into India from Afghanistan through the Khyber Pass. Okay, Babur force occupied much of the northern part of India after his victory at Panipat in 1526. Okay, the first battle Panipat in 1526, he entered India and he established the Mughal Empire in India. Okay, Humayun next, when he was died very soon. After his son Humayun ascended the throne. He became the king of Mughal Empire. Humayun, he was son of Babur. Okay, he ruled from 1530 to 1556. The empire became evident under his son Humayun. Okay, who was forced into exile in Persia by rebels. The Sur Empire founded by Sur Shah Suri. Understood? Sur Shah Suri. Sher Shah Suri, he defeated the Babur. He defeated the Humayun. Understood? Briefly interrupted Mughal rule. Humayun's returned from Persia in 1555. Understood? What happened? Humayun, he became the king of Mughal Empire. Understood? After Babur, when Babur was dead, Humayun was son of Humayun. Okay, sorry. Humayun was son of Babur. Understood? His son Humayun, he was the son of Babur. Okay, he became the king of Mughal Empire. But what happened? Sher Shah Suri, he defeated Humayun. Understood? Then Humayun went to the Persia. Okay, and then in Humayun returned from Persia in 1555. He restored Mughal Empire in India. He restored the Mughal Empire in India, but he died in an accident the next year. Humayun managed to overpower his enemies in the beginning. Understood? But what happened? He had to face defeat at the hands of the Afghan chieftain. Who was he? Sher Shah Suri. Sher Shah Suri defeated the Humayun. Okay. Having lost his kingdom. Who lost his kingdom? Humayun lost his kingdom. He fled to Persia. He went to Persia and stayed there for 15 years. Okay. When the Afghan rule in India weakened, Humayun invaded India and conquered Delhi. Again, Humayun invaded India and conquered Delhi, captured the Delhi. However, he died within a short period thereafter. Okay. Once again, children, see here. The Mughal Empire. The Mughal Empire was an early modern empire that controlled much of the South Asia between the 16th and 19th century. The Mughal Empire have been founded in 1526 by Babur. Babur was the founder of the Mughal Empire. His son Humayun became the king of Mughal Empire. But what happened? Sher Shah Suri, the Sur Empire founded by Sher Shah Suri, he defeated the Humayun. Okay. Then Humayun, he went to the Persia and stayed there 15 years. Okay. 15 years. After 15 years, Humayun again he invaded India and conquered, or he captured Delhi, and he established the Mughal rule again in India. Understood, children? His son Akbar the Great, he ruled the Mughal Empire. He became the king of Mughal Empire. Okay, see here, children, ನಾವಿವಾಗ ಮೊಘಲರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಕ್ರಿಸ್ತಶಕ 1526ರಿಂದ 1707ರವರೆಗೆ ಇವರು ಆಳ್ವಿಕೆಯನ್ನ ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಾಬರ್, ಈ ಮೊಘಲರ ಸ್ಥಾಪಕ ಯಾರು? ಬಾಬರ್. ಕ್ರಿಸ್ತಶಕ 1526ರಲ್ಲಿ ಇವನು ಮೊಘಲ್ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆಯನ್ನ ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೊದಲನೇ ಪಾನಿಪತ್ ಕದನ, ಕ್ರಿಸ್ತಶಕ 1526ರಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊದಲನೇ ಪಾನಿಪತ್ ಕದನದ ಮೂಲಕ ಈ ಪಾನಿಪತ್ ಕದನದಲ್ಲಿ ದೆಹಲಿಯನ್ನು ಆಳುತ್ತಿದ್ದ, ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ದೆಹಲಿ ಸುಲ್ತಾನರು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಳ್ವಿಕೆಯನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ದೆಹಲಿಯನ್ನು ಆಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ ಇಬ್ರಾಹಿಂ ಲೋಧಿಯನ್ನ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಇವನು? ಮೊದಲನೇ ಪಾನಿಪತ್ ಕದನದಲ್ಲಿ 1526ರಲ್ಲಿ ಇಬ್ರಾಹಿಂ ಲೋಧಿಯನ್ನ ಸೋಲಿಸಿ ಬಾಬರ್ ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊಘಲರ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯವನ್ನ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಇಬ್ರಾಹಿಂ ಲೋಧಿ ಮತ್ತು ಬಾಬರ್ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಜರುಗಿದ ಅವರ ನಡುವೆ ಮೊದಲನೇ ಪಾನಿಪತ್ ಕದನ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಕದನದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಬ್ರಾಹಿಂ ಲೋಧಿ ಮರಣವನ್ನ ಹೊಂದುತ್ತಾನೆ. ಲೋಧಿ ಕೊಲ್ಲಲ್ಪಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಇಬ್ರಾಹಿಂ ಲೋಧಿಯ ದೆಹಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ಆಗ್ರಾದ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತಲಿನ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯ ಬಾಬರನ ವಶಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊಘಲರ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇವನ ನಂತರ ಇವನು ಕೂಡ ಅನೇಕ ಯುದ್ಧಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಇವನು ತನ್ನ ತಂದೆಯ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಇವನು ತೈಮೂರನ ವಂಶಸ್ಥನು ಹೌದು, ತಾಯಿಯ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಚಂಗೀಸ್ ಖಾನನ ವಂಶಸ್ಥನೂ ಕೂಡ ಆಗಿದ್ದ. ಯಾರು? ಬಾಬರ್. ಬಾಬರ್ ಮೊಘಲ್ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಸಂಸ್ಥಾಪಕ. ಮಧ್ಯ ಏಷ್ಯಾದ ರಾಜನಾದ ಇವನು ರಾಜಭ್ರಷ್ಟನಾಗಿ ಅಫ್ಘಾನಿಸ್ತಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ತನ್ನ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯವನ್ನ ಸ್ಥಾಪಿಸ್ತಾನೆ. ನಂತರ ಇವನು ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊಘಲ್ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯವನ್ನ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಇವನ ನಂತರ ಹುಮಾಯೂನ್, ಇವನ ಮಗ ಹುಮಾಯೂನ್ ಆಡಳಿತಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ. ಕ್ರಿಸ್ತಶಕ 1530ರಿಂದ 1540ರವರೆಗೆ ಇವನು ಆಳ್ವಿಕೆಯನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ 1555ರಿಂದ 1556ರವರೆಗೆ ಅವನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಆಡಳಿತವನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಹುಮಾಯೂನ್ ತನ್ನ ತಂದೆ ಬಾಬರ್ನ ಮರಣ ನಂತರ ಅವನ ಮಗ ಹುಮಾಯೂನ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ? ಮೊಘಲನ ದೊರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಬಾದಶಾ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಇವನು ಕೂಡ ಅನೇಕ, ಆದರೆ ಅಫ್ಘಾನಿನ ನಾಯಕನಾದ ಶೇರ್ ಶಾ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಈ ಹುಮಾಯೂನನ್ನ ಯುದ್ಧದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೋಲಿಸಿ, ಅಂದರೆ ಹುಮಾಯೂನನಿಗೆ ಅಂತಿಮವಾಗಿ ಯುದ್ಧದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೋಲಿಸಿ ಅವನ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯವನ್ನ ಶೇರ್ ಶಾ ಸೂರಿ ವಶಪಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹುಮಾಯೂನ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಪರ್ಷಿಯಾಕ್ಕೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಈ ಮೊಘಲ್ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯ ಈಗ ಶೇರ್ ಶಾನ ರಾಜ್ಯವಂಶದ ಆಳ್ವಿಕೆಗೆ ಒಳಪಡುತ್ತೆ. ಶೇರ್ ಶಾನಿಂದ ಸೋಲಲ್ಪಟ್ಟ ಹುಮಾಯೂನ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ದೇಶವನ್ನು ತೊರೆದು ಪರ್ಷಿಯಾ ದೊರೆಯ ಬಳಿ ಅವನ ಆಶ್ರಯವನ್ನ ಪಡೀತಾನೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸೂರ್ ವಂಶದ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅವರು ಆಳ್ವಿಕೆಯನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಂತರ ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಹುಮಾಯೂನ್, ಕ್ರಿಸ್ತಶಕ 1555ರಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ದೆಹಲಿಯನ್ನ ಮತ್ತೆ ಶೇರ್ ಶಾ ಸೂರ್ಯ ವಂಶಸ್ಥರಿಂದ, ಈ ಸೂರ್ ರಾಜವಂಶದಿಂದ ಮತ್ತೆ ದೆಹಲಿಯನ್ನ ವಶಪಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮತ್ತೆ ಮೊಘಲರ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯವನ್ನ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪುನರ್ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಯಾರು? ಹುಮಾಯೂನ್. ಆದರೆ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ ನಂತರ ಅವನು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಾಲ ಉಳಿಯೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವನ ಮರಣದ ನಂತರ ಅವನ ಮಗ ಅಕ್ಬರ್ ಆಳ್ವಿಕೆಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ. ಕ್ರಿಸ್ತಶಕ 1556ರಿಂದ 1605ರವರೆಗೆ ಅಕ್ಬರ್ ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊಘಲರ ರಾಜನಾಗಿ ಆಳ್ವಿಕೆಯನ್ನ ನಡೆಸ್ತಾನೆ. Okay, now we study about the Akbar Great. Akbar. Babur was founder of the Mughal Empire. Babur, after who came to power, Humayun came to power. He became the king of Mughal Empire. First Babur and then his son Humayun came to power. He ruled the Delhi. Okay, he ruled Mughal Empire. Humayun after Akbar ruled the Mughal Empire. He was popularly known as Akbar the Great. Akbar the Great. He was third Mughal emperor. He ruled between 1556 to 1605. He ruled from 1556 to 1605. Okay. Akbar succeeded his father Humayun under a regent. Bairam Khan, he helped the young emperor Akbar expand his kingdom in India. Okay, Bairam Khan, he helped the young Akbar. Okay, he expand his kingdom in India. When his power and influence, however, extended over the entire subcontinent because of Mughal military, political, cultural, and economic economic dominance and to unity the vast Mughal empire or Mughal state in India. He expanded his kingdom, enter India. Who? Akbar. Akbar established a centralized system of administration throughout his empire and adopted a policy conquered rules through marriage and diplomacy. Akbar himself was a patron of art and he was himself patron of art and culture. Okay, he patronized the art and culture. Humayun's officer Bairam Khan crowned 13 years old Akbar as the emperor, the Mughal emperor. Understood? Bairam Khan helped the young Akbar to expand his kingdom in India. Understood? Next, he defeated Hemu at second battle of Panipat. Akbar defeated Hemu. In which battle? The second battle of Panipat. Okay, in 1556 AD. With the help of Bairam Khan, Akbar defeated the Hemu at second battle of Panipat in 1556 AD with the help of Bairam Khan. Okay, Akbar conquered Malwa, Chittor, Ranthambore and Kalinjar, Gujarat, Mewad in the battle of Haldighat. Understood? Mewad in the battle of Haldighat after defeating Rana Pratap. He defeated the Rana Pratap and captured the Mewad. Okay, and then Kashmir, Sindh, Agra. He captured the Kashmir, Sindh, Agra, and then Buland Darwaza was constructed at Fatehpur, Sikri after Akbar's victory over Gujarat in AD 1572. He built Buland Darwaza. Understood? Buland Darwaza at Fatehpur Sikri. He built Buland Darwaza. Buland Darwaza. Who built this? Akbar built Buland Darwaza at Fatehpur Sikri. Akbar discouraged the practice of sati. He abolished the practice of sati system and encouraged widow marriage. He introduced a land revenue system. Understood? He introduced a land revenue system called Todarmal Bandobast. Todarmal Bandobast or Zapti system. He introduced revenue system called Todarmal Bandobast or Zapti system. Who introduced this revenue system? Akbar introduced the revenue system Todarmal Bandobast or Zapti system. Okay. Through his finance minister Raja Todarmal was his finance minister. Understood? Wherein the classification of the land and fixation of rent was introduced. He also introduced the Mansabdari system. Akbar introduced Mansabdari system. Mansabdari system. And according to this system, the rank holder system to organize the nobility and army. Okay, the Navaratans are the 9 famous intellectuals of Akbar's court were Todarmal, Abdul Fazal, Faizi, Birbal, Tansen, Abdul Rahim, Khana and Mullado Paza, Raja Mansingh and Fakir Azio-Din. They were the 9 famous intellectuals or Navaratans. Akbar gave shelter for them. Okay. He created a powerful military system. Also and in effective political and social reformers also. He created effective political and social reforms. He abolished the sectarian tax on non-Muslims. Okay, and appointing them to high civil and military post. He was the first Mughal ruler with the trust and loyalty of the native subjects or native people. Akbar was now the master of almost the whole of Rajputana. Small kingdoms. Most of the Rajput kings had submitted to the Mughals. Most of the Rajput kings submitted to the Mughals. Only the one Mewad continued to resist. Okay. Uday Singh, son and successor Pratap Singh. Pratap Singh was later defeated by the Mughals at the battle of Haldighat. Rana Pratap Singh. Understood? He resisted. He continuously resisted. He was later defeated by the Mughal at the battle of Haldighat in 1576. Akbar would celebrate his conquest of Rajputana by laying the foundation of a new capital in Agra. 1569, it was called Fatehpur Sikri, the city of victory. Akbar's system of central government was based on the system that had evolved since the Delhi Sultanates. He followed the Delhi Sultanates. Okay, but the functions of various departments were very clearly organized, very carefully organized. The revenue department was headed by Wazir. The department was headed by Wazirs. The head of the military was called Mir Bakash, and the judiciary was the separate organization headed by a chief. He set about reforming administration of his empire's land revenue by adapting a system that had been used by Sher Shah Suri. He followed Sher Shah Suri, a cultivated area where crops grew well as measured and taxed through fixed rates based on the area's crop side productivity, and revenue was calculated as one third of average production or produce. Zamindars of every area were required to provide loans and agricultural implements. Akbar organized his army a system called the Mansabdari system. He organized his army a system. It was called Mansabdari system. Okay, Mansabdari, under the system, each officer in the army was assigned a rank. Okay, Mansabdar. The Mansabdar were divided 33 classes. They divided into 33 classes. The Mansabdars were divided 33 classes. Each Mansabdar was required to maintain a certain number of cavalrymen and the number of horses. Akbar, Humayun's son, isn't it? Akbar had always aspired to build a vast empire in India. With this intention, he tried to persuade the mighty Rajputana or Rajput kings to support him. Some of them joined hands with Akbar, but Rana Pratap Simha of Mewada continuously he opposed Akbar. Understood? He was a proud and brave warrior. Who? Rana Pratap Singh. Later, a fierce battle between Rana Pratap Singh and Akbar took place on Haldi Ghat in Rajasthan. Though Rana Pratap Singh was defeated by Akbar, defeated in the battle, he did not bow down to Akbar. Thereafter, Akbar engaged himself actively in military campaigns for many years. He conquered Gujarat, Bengal, Kashmir, Kabul and other area also, and built a vast empire in India. Akbar's achievements, administration. Akbar was a good administrator. He was a good administrator and a broad-minded ruler. He was very broad-minded ruler also. He possessed many of the qualities needed for a great king. He had many of the qualities needed a great king. He was not a despotic ruler. He realized that in order to preserve his vast empire in India, it was necessary to win the trust of his Hindus, subjects who formed the majority. He appointed Hindus to high post in his court. Okay, he withdrew the personal taxes called jizya. Understood? He abolished the jizya which was imposed by the earlier Muslim kings on Hindus. Okay, and also the tax levied at pilgrimage centers. Akbar's land revenue policy was well received by the people. It was formed by his revenue minister Raja Todarmal. His revenue minister was Raja Todarmal. Okay, religious policy. He was very liberal. Akbar was tolerant of other religions. He gave shelter, he gave respect for other religions. He constructed a prayer hall, that is Ibadat Khana. He constructed prayer hall, Ibadat Khana. Ibadat Khana. Okay, in his new capital, he built this Ibadat Khana in his new capital, that is Fatehpur Sikri. Fatehpur Sikri. Fatehpur Sikri, where he discussed in Ibadat Khana, he discussed religious matters with leaders of various Islamic sects. He invited Hindus, Jains, Buddhists, Parsis and Christians leaders to discuss their views on religious issues. Okay. As a result, he evolved a new sect or new religion called the Deen-e-Ilahi. He introduced new religion, Deen-e-Ilahi. Deen-e-Ilahi. It incorporated some of the best principles of different religions. However, it could attract only a handful of followers. Once again, children, he was very liberal. Akbar was tolerant of other religions. He gave respect for other religions. That's why he constructed a prayer hall, that is Ibadat Khana. In Ibadat Khana, they discussed, he called the all gurus or all leaders or all religion leaders. For example, Hindu, Jains, Muslims, Buddhists, Parsis, Christians leaders to discuss here. Discuss their views of religion issues. Okay, and then he evolved a new sect called Deen-e-Ilahi, new religion, Deen-e-Ilahi. It followed by some people. Okay, next he patronized to arts. Akbar patronized literature and art in his kingdom. Faizi, Abul Fazl and Birbal were the distinguished poets in his court. He gave shelter for Faizi, Abul Fazl and Birbal. They were very famous poets in his courts. The immortal singer Tansen was very famous, understood, very immortal singer also. Adorned his court. Akbar's contributions to architecture and paintings are also remarkable. Next, Jahangir and Shah Jahan, who succeeded Akbar, okay, to the throne, continued his policies a great extent. Shah Jahan achieved fame by getting the famous Taj Mahal built at Agra. Shah Jahan built the Taj Mahal, okay, the famous Taj Mahal built at Agra. Who built the Taj Mahal? Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan built Taj Mahal. Shah Jahan built Taj Mahal at Agra. It was Taj Mahal is very famous. Okay, Shah Jahan achieved fame by getting the famous Taj Mahal built at Agra. He built Taj Mahal at Agra. The Mahmud Red Fort, he built Red Fort at Delhi and other stately palaces. Understood, children? Shah Jahan built Taj Mahal at Agra and Red Fort in Delhi. Next, Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb ruled the Mughal Empire. Shah Jahan's son, he was the son of Shah Jahan's. Aurangzeb is the last well-known Mughal emperor. He was the last king or emperor of the Mughal. He was the last well-known Mughal emperor. Who was the last well-known Mughal emperor? Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan's son Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb was the last Mughal emperor. Understood, children? Aurangzeb was the last well-known Mughal emperor. He ruled for a long period, 50 years. He ruled Mughal Empire 50 years. Okay, during his period, the empire expanded in all directions. He expanded his kingdom all directions, but at the end it declined rapidly. Religious policy. Aurangzeb was an Orthodox Muslim. He stayed away from he refused drinking wine, gambling, entertainment, and music. Understood? He lived a simple life. Who lived simple life? Aurangzeb lived very simple life. He was an orthodox Muslim. He stayed away from drinking wine, gambling, entertainment, and music. He lived a simple life. Okay. Aurangzeb gave up the liberal policy of Akbar. He reimposed the jizya. This led to many political rebellions. Okay. The Sikh rebellions. The Sikhs were provoked by the Aurangzeb's religious policy. Understood? They opposed. The Sikhs opposed the Aurangzeb's religious policy. They opposed Aurangzeb also. The Sikh Guru Tej Bahadur was publicly executed in Delhi. His son Guru Govinda Singh organized the Sikh community. He organized the Sikh community into a militant sect. The members were they had to possess the 5 Ks at all times. There were kesh, long hair, kangan, comb, kirapan, sword, kacha, a pair of knickers, bookers, and kara, steel bracelet. This custom is prevalent among Sikhs even today also. Isn't it? Once again, children, the Sikh rebellions against the Aurangzeb religious policy. The Sikhs were provoked by, they opposed to the Aurangzeb's religious policy. The Sikh Guru Tej Bahadur was publicly executed. He was killed by Aurangzeb. Understood? That's why his son Guru Govinda Singh organized the Sikh community, and the members were designated as a Singh. Singh means lion. Okay. They had to possess the 5 Ks at all times. These were kesh, long kesh means long hair, kangan, comb, kirapan, sword, kacha, a pair of knicker. Okay. Bokers and kara, steel bracelet. These customs is prevalent among Sikhs even today also. Rebellions, the Sikhs and Rajputs strongly opposed Aurangzeb because he was orthodox Muslims. Aurangzeb was an orthodox Muslim. That's why so many kings and so many Rajputs also they opposed the Aurangzeb's policy, religious policy. They opposed Aurangzeb. Understood? The Sikhs and Rajputs strongly opposed Aurangzeb in North India. Shivaji rose in revolt in the Deccan. The revolts continued for a long time. As a result, Aurangzeb lost enormous. He lost his wealth, a large part of his army, and worst of all, his prestige. Lost these things. Many provinces of his empire became free. All small kingdoms became free. The Deccan was sapped. Aurangzeb's economic power as well as military strength also declined. Being exhausted, he died in the Deccan. Aurangzeb died. Finally, he died in Deccan. With his death, the Mughal empire was greatly became weakened. Okay, Aurangzeb, he was an orthodox Muslim. Understood, children? ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಇವಾಗ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಅಕ್ಬರ್ನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ. ಅಕ್ಬರ್ ಅವನು ತುಂಬ ಪ್ರಸಿದ್ಧಿಯನ್ನು ಪಡೆದಿರುವಂತಹ ಮೊಘಲ್ ದೊರೆ ಅಂತಲೇ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಅಂದರೆ ಹುಮಾಯೂನನ ಆಳ್ವಿಕೆಯ ನಂತರ ಅವನ ಮರಣದ ನಂತರ ಹುಮಾಯೂನ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಪರ್ಷಿಯಾದಿಂದ ಮತ್ತೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಮರಳಿ ಇಂಡಿಯಾವನ್ನು ಮತ್ತೆ ದೆಹಲಿಯನ್ನು ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಚರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಮತ್ತೆ ತನ್ನ ಮೊಘಲ್ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯವನ್ನು ಅವನು ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಆದರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ ಮರು ವರ್ಷವೇ ಅವನು ಮರಣವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದುತ್ತಾನೆ. ಹುಮಾಯೂನಿನ ನಂತರ ಅವನ ಮಗ ಅಕ್ಬರ್ ದಿ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಅಕ್ಬರ್ ಮೊಘಲ್ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಸ್ಥಾಪಕ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಇವನು ಅಧಿಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಸುರಾಜಮನೆತನದ ಮಂತ್ರಿಯಾದ ಹೇಮು ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಪ್ರಬಲನಾಗಿದ್ದು ಆಗ್ರಾ ಮತ್ತು ದೆಹಲಿಯನ್ನ ನಿಯಂತ್ರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ. ಆದರೆ ಬಂಗಾಳ, ಬಿಹಾರ, ಮಾಳ್ವಾ, ಗುಜರಾತ್ ಮುಂತಾದ ಪ್ರಾಂತ್ಯಗಳು ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ ಆಗಿರ್ತವೆ. ರಾಜಸ್ಥಾನದ ರಜಪೂತರು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಮೊಘಲರಿಗೆ ಅವರು ಕಟ್ಟು ವೈರಿಗಳಾಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸವಾಲುಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಅಕ್ಬರ್ ತುಂಬ ಸಮರ್ಥವಾಗಿ ಎದುರಿಸಿ ಅವರನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಸೋಲಿಸಿ ತನ್ನ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯವನ್ನ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಸಮರ್ಥವಾಗಿ ಅವನು ಎಲ್ಲ ದಂಗೆಗಳನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲ ಯುದ್ಧಗಳನ್ನು ಅಡಗಿಸಿ ಅವನು ವಿಶಾಲವಾದ ಮೊಘಲ್ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯವನ್ನ ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಯಾರು? ಅಕ್ಬರ್. ಎರಡನೇ ಪಾಣಿಪತ್ ಕದನ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ ಕ್ರಿಸ್ತಶಕ 1556. ಈ ಕದನದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೈರಮ್ ಖಾನನ ನೇತೃತ್ವದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನ ಸಹಾಯದಿಂದ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಹೇಮುವಿನ ಸೈನ್ಯವನ್ನ ಸೋಲಿಸಿ ಆಗ್ರಾ ಮತ್ತು ದೆಹಲಿಯನ್ನ ಅಕ್ಬರ್ ವಶಪಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಾಬೂಲನ್ನು ಅವನು ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರನಾಗಿಸಲು ಬಯಸಿದ ಅಕ್ಬರ್ ಕಾಬೂಲನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ತನ್ನ ಹತೋಟಿಗೆ ಅವನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. ನಂತರ ಅಕ್ಬರ್ ಕ್ರಿಸ್ತಶಕ 1561 ಮಾಳ್ವಾವನ್ನ, ರಣಥಂಬೋರನ್ನ, ಕಾಲಿಂಜರ್ ರಾಜಸ್ಥಾನದ ಬಹುತೇಕ ರಾಜವಂಶಗಳನ್ನು ಇವನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಸೋಲಿಸಿ ತನ್ನ ವಶಕ್ಕೆ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಆದರೆ ರಾಜಸ್ಥಾನದ ಎಲ್ಲ ರಜಪೂತ ದೊರೆಗಳು ಅಕ್ಬರನಿಗೆ ಶರಣಾಗತನಾದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಚಿತ್ತೂರಿನ ದೊರೆಯಾದ ರಾಣಾ ಪ್ರತಾಪ್ ಸಿಂಗ್ ಮಾನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಮಾನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ನೇತೃತ್ವದ ಮೊಘಲ್ ಸೇನೆ ರಾಣಾ ಪ್ರತಾಪ್ ಸಿಂಗನನ್ನು ಸೋಲಿಸಿ ಅಸಫ್ ಖಾನ್ ಮತ್ತು ಮಾನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ನೇತೃತ್ವದ ಮೊಘಲ್ ಸೇನೆಯು ರಾಣಾ ಪ್ರತಾಪ್ ಸಿಂಗನನ್ನು ಸೋಲಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವನನ್ನು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಸೋಲಿಸಿ ಅಕ್ಬರ್ನ ಮರಣದವರೆಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಚಿತ್ತೋರ್ ಅಕ್ಬರನಿಗೆ ಕೊನೆಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಇದು ಶರಣಾಗತ ಆಗಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೋಲನ್ನು ಅನುಭವಿಸಿದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಶರಣಾಗತ ಆಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರು? ಮೇವಾಡದ ರಾಣಾ ಪ್ರತಾಪ್ ಸಿಂಗ್. ಕ್ರಿಸ್ತಶಕ 1561 ಅಂಬರ್ನ ರಜಪೂತ ದೊರೆಯಾದ ರಾಜ ಬಿಹಾರಿ ಮಲ್ ತನ್ನ ಮಗಳು ಜೋಧಾಬಾಯಿಯನ್ನ ಅಕ್ಬರನಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ವಿವಾಹವನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಂಬರ್ನ ರಜಪೂತ ದೊರೆ ಯಾರು? ರಾಜ ಬಿಹಾರಿ ಮಲ್. ಅವನೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ತನ್ನ ಮಗಳಾದ ಜೋಧಾಬಾಯಿಯನ್ನ ಅಕ್ಬರನಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ವಿವಾಹವನ್ನ ಅವನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ನಂತರ ಅಕ್ಬರ್ ತನ್ನ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯವನ್ನು 12 ಸುಭಾಗಳಾಗಿ ಅವನು ವಿಂಗಡಿಸ್ತಾನೆ, ಪ್ರಾಂತ್ಯಗಳಾಗಿ ವಿಂಗಡಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಮನ್ಸಬ್ದಾರಿ ಎಂಬ ಹೊಸ ಸೈನಿಕ ಮತ್ತು ಆಡಳಿತ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ಅವನು ಜಾರಿಗೆ ತರ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಕ್ಬರ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಉದಾರ ಧಾರ್ಮಿಕ ನೀತಿಯನ್ನ ಹೊಂದಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಇವನು ಅನೇಕ ನೂತನ ರಾಜಧಾನಿಯಾದ ಫತೇಪುರ್ ಸಿಕ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರಿಸ್ತಶಕ 1575 ಎಲ್ಲ ಧರ್ಮಗಳ ತಿರುಳನ್ನು ತಿಳಿಸಲು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಧಾರ್ಮಿಕ ಚರ್ಚೆಯನ್ನು ನಡೆಸುವ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ತನ್ನ ನೂತನ ರಾಜಧಾನಿಯಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ ಫತೇಪುರ್ ಸಿಕ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಬಾದತ್ ಖಾನವನ್ನು ಅವನು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡಿ, ಇಬಾದತ್ ಖಾನ ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನಾಲಯವನ್ನು ಅವನು ಎಂಬ ಕಟ್ಟಡವನ್ನು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಧರ್ಮದ ಗುರುಗಳನ್ನು ಸೇರಿಸ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತಿದ್ದ ಚರ್ಚೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂದೂ ಧರ್ಮ, ಹಿಂದೂ, ಫಾರ್ಸಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಜೈನರು, ಕ್ರಿಶ್ಚಿಯನ್ನರು ಎಲ್ಲ ಧರ್ಮದವರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವನು ಆಮಂತ್ರಣವನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಧರ್ಮದವರು ಕೂಡ ಒಟ್ಟುಗೂಡಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಇಬಾದತ್ ಖಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಚರ್ಚೆಯನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡಲಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಮುಂತಾದ ವಿವಿಧ ಧರ್ಮಗಳ ಪಂಡಿತರು ಕೂಡ ಆ ಇಬಾದತ್ ಖಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಯುವಂತಹ ಚರ್ಚೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ನಂತರ ಕ್ರಿಸ್ತಶಕ 1579 ತನ್ನನ್ನು ಇಸ್ಲಾಂ ಧರ್ಮದ ಕಾನೂನಿನ ಅಂತಿಮ ವ್ಯಾಖ್ಯಾನಕಾರ ಎಂದು ಅವನು ಸ್ವಯಂ ಘೋಷಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಫತೇಪುರ್ ಸಿಕ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬುಲಂದ್ ದರ್ವಾಜದ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಕ್ಬರ್ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಬರೆಸ್ತಾನೆ: ಜಗತ್ತು ಒಂದು ಸೇತುವೆ ಇದ್ದಂತೆ, ಇದರ ಮೇಲೆ ನಡೆದು ಹೋಗಿರಿ, ಆದರೆ ಇದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಮನೆ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಡಿ. ಜಗತ್ತು ಒಂದು ಗಂಟೆ ಕಾಲ ಮಾತ್ರ ಬಾಳುತ್ತದೆ, ಈ ಅಲ್ಪ ಕಾಲವನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳೆಯಿರಿ. ಉಳಿದೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನ ನೋಡುವವರು ಯಾರು? ಈ ಜಗತ್ತನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಕನ್ನಡಿ ಎಂದು ಭಾವಿಸಿರಿ ಎಂದು ಸಿರಿಗೋಚರಿಸಿ ಮಾಯವಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಅಕ್ಬರನು 1605 ನಿಧನ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಇವನ ಘೋರಿಯು ಆಗ್ರಾದ ಬಳಿಯ ಸಿಕಂದರ್ ಎಂಬಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಅಕ್ಬರ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಫತೇಪುರ್ ಸಿಕ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿನ ಬುಲಂದ್ ದರ್ವಾಜದ ಮೇಲೆ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಬರೆಸಿದಾನೆ, ಏನಂತ: ಜಗತ್ತು ಒಂದು ಸೇತುವೆ ಇದ್ದಂತೆ, ಇದರ ಮೇಲೆ ನಡೆದು ಹೋಗಿರಿ, ಆದರೆ ಇದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಮನೆ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಡಿ. ಜಗತ್ತು ಒಂದು ಗಂಟೆ ಕಾಲ ಮಾತ್ರ ಬಾಳುತ್ತದೆ. ಈ ಅಲ್ಪ ಕಾಲವನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳೆಯಿರಿ. ಉಳಿದೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ನೋಡುವವರು ಯಾರು? ನೀವಿತ್ತ ದಾನವೇ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಂಪತ್ತು. ಈ ಜಗತ್ತು ಒಂದು ಕನ್ನಡಿ ಎಂದು ಭಾವಿಸಿರಿ, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿರಿ ಗೋಚರಿಸಿ ಮಾಯವಾಗುತ್ತದೆ ಎಂದು ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಬರೆಸಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಅಕ್ಬರ್ 1605ರಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಧನನಾಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಇವನ ಗೋರಿಯು ಆಗ್ರಾದ ಬಳಿಯ ಸಿಕಂದರ ಎಂಬಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಇವನ ನಂತರ ಇವನ ಮಗ ಜಹಾಂಗೀರ್ ಆಳ್ವಿಕೆಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ. ಜಹಾಂಗೀರ ನಂತರ ಶಹಜಹಾನ್ ಆಳ್ವಿಕೆಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ. ಶಹಜಹಾನ್ ಕೂಡ ತುಂಬಾ ಪ್ರಸಿದ್ಧಿಯನ್ನು ಪಡೆದಿರುವಂತಹ ದೊರೆ. ಶಹಜಹಾನನ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮಯೂರಾಸನ ಇವನ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದ ಪಿಕಾಕ್ ಥ್ರೋನ್, ಮಯೂರಾಸನ ಇವನ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣವಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇವನು ಅಹಮದ್ ನಗರವನ್ನು ವಶಪಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಕ್ರಿಸ್ತಶಕ 1658ರಲ್ಲಿ ಶಹಜಹಾನ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ? ಶಹಜಹಾನನ ಮಕ್ಕಳಾದ ದಾರಾ ಶಿಕೋ, ಶಾ ಶೂಜಾ, ಔರಂಗಜೇಬ್ ಮತ್ತು ಮುರಾದ್ ಇವರ ನಡುವೆ ಉತ್ತರಾಧಿಕಾರದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕದನ ಆರಂಭವಾಗಿ ಈ ಕದನದಲ್ಲಿ ಔರಂಗಜೇಬ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾನೆ? ವಿಜೇತನಾಗಿ ತನ್ನ ತಂದೆ ಶಹಜಹಾನನ್ನ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ? ಅವನು ಬಂಧಿಸಿ ಅವನು ಸಿಂಹಾಸನವನ್ನು ಏರ್ತಾನೆ. ಯಾರು? ಔರಂಗಜೇಬ್. ದಿಲ್ಲಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಶಹಜಹಾನ್ ದಿಲ್ಲಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಶಹಜಹಾನಾಬಾದ್ ಎಂಬ ಹೊಸ ನಗರವನ್ನು ಶಹಜಹಾನ್ ನಿರ್ಮಿಸ್ತಾನೆ. ಉತ್ತಮ ನಿರ್ಮಾತೃವಾದ ಶಹಜಹಾನ್ ಆಗ್ರಾದ ಮೋದಿ ಮಸೀದಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ದೆಹಲಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಂಪುಕೋಟೆ, ಜುಮ್ಮಾ ಮಸೀದಿ ಮತ್ತು ಆಗ್ರಾದ ತಾಜ್ ಮಹಲ್ ಅನ್ನು ಶಹಜಹಾನ್ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ರಾಜಧಾನಿಯನ್ನ ಆಗ್ರಾದಿಂದ ದೆಹಲಿಗೆ ಇವನು ವರ್ಗಾಯಿಸ್ತಾನೆ. ಇವನನ್ನ ಸೌಧಗಳ ನಿರ್ಮಾಪಕ ರಾಜ, ಈ ಶಹಜಹಾನ್ನನ್ನ ಸೌಧಗಳ ನಿರ್ಮಾಪಕ ರಾಜ ಅಂತಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಕರೆಯಲಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಿಲ್ಲಿಯ ಜಾಮಾ ಮಸೀದಿ ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿಯೇ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಮಸೀದಿಯಾಗಿದೆ. ಅವನ ನಂತರ ಔರಂಗಜೇಬ್ ಆಡಳಿತಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ. ಔರಂಗಜೇಬ್ ತನ್ನ ಮೂವರು ಸಹೋದರರನ್ನ ಮತ್ತೆ ತಂದೆಯನ್ನ ಬಂಧಿಸಿ ಅವನೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ? ಆಡಳಿತಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ. ಯಾರು? ಔರಂಗಜೇಬ್. ಕ್ರಿಸ್ತಶಕ 1658ರಿಂದ 1707ರವರೆಗೆ ಅವನು ಆಳ್ವಿಕೆಯನ್ನ ನಡೆಸ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಔರಂಗಜೇಬ್ ತನ್ನ ಮೊಘಲ್ ದೊರೆಗಳಂತೆ ಬಾದಶಾ ಎಂಬ ಬಿರುದಿನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅವನು ಆಲಂಗೀರ್ ಎಂಬ ಬಿರುದನ್ನು ಸಹ ಹೊಂದಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಔರಂಗಜೇಬ್ ಸೇನಾನಿ ಶಾಯಿಸ್ತಾ ಖಾನ್ನ ಸೋನಾ ದ್ವೀಪ್ ಮತ್ತು ಚಿತ್ತಗಾಂಗ್ ಮೇಲೆ ದಾಳಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಪೋರ್ಚುಗೀಸ್ ಕಡಲ್ಗಳ್ಳರನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಇವನು ಮಟ್ಟ ಹಾಕ್ತಾನೆ. ಔರಂಗಜೇಬ್ ಕಟ್ಟ ಸುನ್ನಿ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಟ್ಟ ಮುಸ್ಲಿಮನಾದ ಔರಂಗಜೇಬ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ? ಅಕ್ಬರ್ನ ಧಾರ್ಮಿಕ ನೀತಿಗೆ ವಿರುದ್ಧವಾಗಿ ಅವನು ಅನೇಕ ಹಿಂದೂ ವಿರೋಧಿ ನೀತಿಗಳನ್ನ ಇವನು ಜಾರಿಗೆ ತರ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಜಸಿಯಾ ಕಂದಾಯವನ್ನು ಹಿಂದೂಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಅವನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೇರಿಸ್ತಾನೆ. ಆದರೆ ಅಕ್ಬರನ ಕಾಲಾವಧಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಜಸಿಯಾ ತಲೆಗಂದಾಯವನ್ನು ಅವನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ? ನಿಷೇಧವನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಹಾಕಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಆದರೆ ಔರಂಗಜೇಬ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಆಳ್ವಿಕೆಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹಿಂದೂಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಅವನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ? ಜಸಿಯಾ ಕಂದಾಯವನ್ನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೇರ್ತಾನೆ. ಇವನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ? ಜ್ಯೋತಿಷಿಗಳನ್ನು, ನಾಣ್ಯಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಕುರಾನ್ ಶ್ಲೋಕಗಳನ್ನು ಅಚ್ಚು ಹಾಕಿಸುವುದಿರಬಹುದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನವರೋಜ್ ಆಚರಣೆಯನ್ನು, ಸತಿ ಪದ್ಧತಿಯನ್ನು ಇವನು ಕೂಡ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ? ನಿಷೇಧ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. 1679ರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಕ್ಬರ್ನಿಂದ ರದ್ದಾಗಿದ್ದ ಜಸಿಯಾ ತಲೆಗಂದಾಯ ಇರಬಹುದು. ಜಸಿಯಾ ತಲೆಗಂದಾಯವನ್ನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಹಿಂದೂಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಇವನು ಹೇರ್ತಾನೆ. ಯಾರು? ಔರಂಗಜೇಬ್. ಇವನೊಬ್ಬ ಕಟ್ಟ ಮುಸ್ಲಿಮನಾಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಇವನ ಈ ಕಟ್ಟ ಮುಸ್ಲಿಂ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಅನೇಕ ಸಣ್ಣ ಎಲ್ಲ ರಾಜರುಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಇವನನ್ನು ವಿರೋಧಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಔರಂಗಜೇಬನ ಧಾರ್ಮಿಕ ಮತ್ತು ಆಡಳಿತ ನೀತಿಗಳಿಂದಾಗಿ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯದ ದೊರೆಗಳು, ಪ್ರಜೆಗಳು ಔರಂಗಜೇಬನ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ದಂಗೆ ಏಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ರಿಸ್ತಶಕ 1675ರಲ್ಲಿ ಔರಂಗಜೇಬ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ? ಸಿಖ್ಖರ ಗುರು ತೇಜ್ ಬಹದ್ದೂರ್ನನ್ನ ಇವನು ಕೊಲ್ಲಿಸ್ತಾನೆ. ಇದರಿಂದ ಕೋಪಗೊಂಡ ಸಿಖ್ಖರು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಒಂದು ಸೈನಿಕ ಜನಾಂಗವಾಗಿ ಮೊಘಲರ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ನಿರಂತರವಾಗಿ ಅವ್ರೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಬಂಡಾಯವನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸಿಖ್ಖರ ಕೊನೆಯ ಗುರುವಾದ ಗುರು ಗೋವಿಂದ್ ಸಿಂಗ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ? ಖಾಲಾ ಎಂಬುವರು ಧಾರ್ಮಿಕ ಸೈನ್ಯವನ್ನು ಸಂಘಟಿಸಿ ಮೊಘಲರ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಅವರು ಬಂಡಾಯವನ್ನ, ತೀವ್ರ ಪ್ರತಿರೋಧವನ್ನ ಅವರು ಒಡ್ತಾನೆ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಔರಂಗಜೇಬ್ನ ರಜಪೂತ್ ನೀತಿ ಇರಬಹುದು, ದಕ್ಷಿಣ ಭಾರತ, ಇವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ತುಂಬ ಕಟ್ಟುನಿಟ್ಟಾಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆಯೂ ಕೂಡ ಔರಂಗಜೇಬನ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ದಂಗೆಗಳು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್.